Muni Eso, Om Muni 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 Eso, Om Muni 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 Eso, Daya Dan Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Body Eso, Daya Dan Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Body Eso, Daya Dan Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Body Eso, Sanje Chodang Soki Chonama, Jojo Bado Dagi Japsuchi, Dagi Chingi Peso Sanki, Jola Banje Sanje Jojo Sanje Chodang Soki Chonama, Jojo Bado Dagi Dagi Chingi Peso Sanki, Jola Banje Sanje Jojo Sanje Chodang Soki Chonama, Jojo Bado Dagi Japsuchi, Dagi Chingi Peso Sanki, Jola Banje Sanje Jojo Sanje Chodang Soki Jojo Bado Dagi Japsuchi, Dagi Chingi Peso Sanki, Jola Banje Sanje Jojo Simje Tamjega to Tobjala Namacheva Sanje Kumaram Chile Tobacha. The Children, Janju Samba Lava and Future Nanfulangi, Lawan, Shibal, Toa, Tradition, and Kosovo, lovely shooting sometimes.
And so again, it's our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all living beings. And to do this, we know we must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. But to perfect them, we have to understand what they are about. To gain that understanding, we must be able to study based on an unmistaken presentation. And so it is with this in mind that we are here this morning to listen to an explanation on the graduated path to enlightenment. Soktrang, the Dunju Doku, and the Choga Koro, the Gurwani.
That can judge because you should have social set up, that can judge Rota to Lamachuva Lucasation set up in Yana, Matiteke Lucas, social setting on a Kardami Kimayomari. Set up to Takanjaju, social Matiteke Lucas Javina, and Dundo Takanjaju. Koso touch tapula to the chimney, the more than the teachers are number Dubashaja Tuba, number Dubashaja Tuba, and the Tuga Doji Chapa, the Tuga, then at the Saba, and then we said them to the trouble and the Caso de Takaja, Jawadoji Channel, Namich like Laman, Compassia, and the year the Union and Caso de Takaja, yes, Jawachaba, you to Chamia. And the Caso de Tachi, the sum of the Tuki, and Gibelaman and the Quasha, and Dundo, and Rangi children with the Lamala, and Zavelama children with the Laman and Quashuba, and the Tena and the Casodata, Casodata, Judicial Hazoba, Lame, Nature Cube, and Chuchu, Jaju, and then Gasan Sanja Toma, and the Tanisha Casodata. New Sitting Gala Superne, just Papa Natu Quarter, the Tamana, Ranke, the near to Bao Country Church of Sumara Takaja, Masan will never use some such water commercial.
So we have been looking at the generation and sustaining of that visualization of the merit field as a means of accumulating merit and practice. And we had heard about the slightly different details pertaining to either the merit field according to the Guru Puja tradition or indeed the quick path to omniscience, this very text, its tradition, and saying that it doesn't matter which, they're both valid, and that with regard to the tradition from the quick path, one visualizes as the central figure, one's own greatly compassionate, kind-hearted root guru in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha at the center, at whose heart is the figure of Vajradhara, and at the heart of Vajradhara is the concentration being the simple syllable Hum. and that and then all around, and we visualize in turn the different groupings of gurus of the merit field above and just behind, the lineage of the consecrated practices headed by Vajradhara, and then to the right the extensive practices lineage headed by Maitreya, and to the left the profound view lineage of gurus headed by Manjushri, and to the front is our own kind root guru, surrounded by all the teachers from whom we have received direct teachings, and then the different levels of the highest yoga tantric deity sets, the other sets, tantric sets from the yoga, the charya and the kriya sets of tantric deities, and then again below them the Buddhas in different groupings, such as the Buddhas of the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate aeon, then the great bodhisattvas, including the 8 close disciples of the Buddha. Then we have the groupings of the practical Buddhas and the hearer Buddhas, and then the various dakas, dakinis, dharma protectors, etc. So we have this overall understanding of the entire enlightened realm in front of us in the form of the merit field. So that is said that one, in the process of this aspect of practice, that of visualizing the merit field in the space in front, one begins with just that space and then meditates on emptiness. And it's true then, arising from emptiness comes the merit field and all the different members of the merit field. And then we also, of course, visualize all around us, surrounding us, are all kind mother sentient beings without exception. Of course, because it is for the very purpose of these sentient beings all around us that we visualize the merit field, we engage in practice related to the merit field in order to quickly attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit, for the sake of just those kind mother sentient beings. And so it's all, if one is engaged in tantric practice, particularly highest yoga tantric practice, and has received empowerment into a particular tantric mandala, then it is permissible to generate oneself as that particular deity and engage in this practice of visualizing the merit field in that mode. And then we go through the similar process of generating oneself as the deity, again having meditated on emptiness and arising out of that emptiness as that deity.
다 신다 미자베 다 누가 죽으러 누가 상계스 누가 고통 다 좀 되게 와 대화 좀 되게 와
So the great significance of beginning or initiating practice such as this, from arising from emptiness as the deity and arising the merit field itself out of emptiness as well for our practice, is that as fortunate as we are to have gained this particular life, this particular body, yet it is a contaminated set of aggregates which indeed has arisen, albeit virtuously, but from motivation which is contaminated itself by the ignorance of self-grasping. And so this then is dealt with in a direct way, kind of in a way one visualizes the purification of this contaminated element through the process of arising from emptiness. And so this allows us to actualize indeed this moving from the contaminated ordinary body into the body, the uncontaminated body of the deity. And so this is significant in our motivation, of course, the tantric motivation to quickly attain the state of enlightenment. So one employs this profound imaginative process in order to address that the speed element of quickly attaining the state of enlightenment.
다 초신대다게 투가래 지워 잡아 투가 혼래 아니 외세 트네 아니 가서 외세 트네 다 같이 심지가 되는지 안 다가니 신게 아니 외세티 심지가 되는지 발라서 다가니 신거 외세티 아니 가서 다다데 초주의 아니 지금 초주의 아니 사제다 자주세 신감라 야 외세 트네 안 대단히 20바 젠장네 아니 초신 레레라 아니 20바 문에 거라 차상거리도 수수 삼상제 어떻게
And so from the merit field, this light rays emanate from the actual concentration, being the hung at the heart center of Vajradhara, at the heart center of the central figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, and that these lights go out to all the Buddha realms in the 10 directions, inviting the wisdom beings, and these wisdom beings come and they dissolve into each member of the merit field, the pledge beings, and yes, that's what happens.
다 대대 전 배는 것도 남주 배는 산제 국거대 지역이나 배는 국거대 지역이나 국대대 두간의 외세 트네 아니 라라게 신감라 아니 외세 되네 아니 이시바 젠탄 텔라 팀소 삼사 아니 디 징글 랍소사 아데도 고바시라 야부 여사로 야부 여사로.
I think this is very good to visualize and to think with regard to any Buddha statue, isn't it? That we can visualize that light emanates from that particular statue being, and entering into the Buddha realms, inviting all of the wisdom beings to come and bestow blessing by dissolving into that particular Buddha. There's a kind of a quintessential point to that.
Rada tusuche ata konde yuwa tusuta ane dene yanga tuba menjeta chewa pina ta tanda di rada chanse wada chewa piwa ta ane kasa de chanse wada cheje ane shakwa rangi shakwa cheje shakwa ta ane jesu yirawa ta tanda kare jesu yirawa cha ta digi chedara ta chogo huwa kuwa wotere.
And so then, having really reached that point in the merit field practice, where one has indeed seen the fully empowered, each member of that merit field now being kind of fully empowered by having the wisdom beings also dissolve into them. And so we then go through the process of visualizing the bathhouse, and so now we want to offer this cleansing, this bath, to all the different members of the merit field. And having gone through that, then there's the process of the offering of the seven-limbed practice together with mandala. And so as last week we had covered different limbs of those 7 limbs, such as the limb of prostration, of offering, of confessing one's negativities, and of rejoicing in the virtue of others. And we had come to the 5th element of the 7 limbs, and that was the strong exhorting the Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma.
와 마치네 아니 대다게 다 토마면 디바데 마차서 내게 견디게 마치 나와 이다 둔 다미라 라마이라 소베 네티가다 바치 되게 추도사게다 가서 요아도서 파이프소를 두 삼로다 어디를 마치잖아 대다 탐자래 징글라서 어디를 고마시바이나.
And so with regard to the offering of the bath and the whole bath house and so on, there's a very elaborate kind of like description of all the different elements to that, and that one is that like where you have the channels of the water going into the central pool, over which hangs a very elaborate decorated canopy and so on, and the steps leading down. And when one offers the bath to all the different deities, all the members of the merit field, that the remaining water exits through 6 different channels, or like pipes, and these are visualized as going into the 6 different realms of existence in cyclic existence, and they purify all of the faults, all of the negativities, and all of the obscurations, etc., of all the beings in those different 6 realms. So one can include all this kind of a blessing process within the even the bath, the offering of the bath. That's right, yeah. That's right. Isn't that sort of echoed in the Chinese tradition of offering a kind of a bath to a very the baby Buddha figure, where they pour water? I think it's especially at Sakadawa, isn't it?
Vesak, yeah.
Vesak, yeah.
룩수 야고제도 룩수 야고제도 다 이내다 나랑 쪽에 제제도 다 간자 지금 가서다 랑기 띠바다 띠바자를 치도 다 산제 꿀을 겨요 말때 이나 랑기 띠바다 띠바자를 치도 아니 주수체 다 주수 제바 대다 초바표다 디 아니 산제 꿀을 주에 다 간자 지금 질랍디 아니 도와지 두고 심게 탐정마 진짜 다디 아니 도마미 띠바다 띠바다 띠가 마자트에 아니 내가 겨요 탐정 마자트에
And so perhaps I'm not sure if that particular Chinese tradition is related to what we're discussing here, but nevertheless I think it's a very good tradition, isn't it? It can be very significant. And of course in the offering of a bath in an elaborate bathhouse, etc., to all the members of the enlightened merit field, isn't necessary for their sake. They're not in any way dirty or stained or need a bath, but it's for our sake to purify our own negativities and our own obscurations. And it is indeed through the water that is used and that is subsequently blessed water entering into the 6 channels that take it away from the bathhouse and into the six realms, that the obscurations and negativities of all the beings in the six realms are purified, and indeed the place itself is purified of any stain as well. And so that again, nothing that we are visualizing in the context of giving the bath is anything ordinary. Again, because we are again taking the process of all of what we are visualizing is arising out of emptiness, and so this is the kind of the wisdom, the water of wisdom that is being used. And so because then we're using this as a tantric practice, of course, and that so therefore that which is being emanated, that is being generated, is being generated out of emptiness, and that and with that tantric connection, that it is indeed in reality the wisdom of the non-dual bliss and voidness, that play of non-dual bliss and voidness. And so that's the nature of it. In aspect, we can see it as this water, or this nectar, or the ointments and so on, and perfumes and so on that are used in the context of that bath. So then from that then one goes through the prostration, the offerings, the confession, the rejoicing, and then up to this the request to turn the wheel of Dharma. And so this is covered in the verse from the King of Prayers, which we have been using, where it states, "You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma." And so here the process is through concentrating on this limb of practice, we emanate bodies in kind of equal in number to all of the atoms in the Buddha realms, and that here we address all of the Buddhas who have in all the worlds, who have just attained the state of enlightenment but have yet to turn the wheel of Dharma, and so they remain abiding without teaching. And so here, for our motivation, in order to for the benefit and happiness of all the sentient beings, we make an offering of an actual Dharma wheel, a golden Dharma wheel with 1,000 spokes, and presenting this to each of the Buddhas in turn, each of the members of the merit field in turn. We strongly request them to turn the wheel of Dharma, to teach, and we see that they agree, yes, I will turn the wheel of Dharma, and indeed they begin their career of teaching the Dharma.
rangi lu ngar thoma me bana ni kya wa ka zelang ya de da kanga nyam do ya jo ko so de be wada kan so so lo cha tia do ya.
And so in emanating these vast numbers of bodies equal in number to the atoms of the Buddha realms, one can also substitute there that one emanates in bodies equal in number to all my own previous births since beginningless time, and that you can visualize that we are all here together engaged in this process of entreating the Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma.
Yeah, they the child number 2, but I ever two and so I did you go with that. Because they did not go the cousin. Some look at you bear you, but the leakage of my that was so lapchable. No one knew what sank you were in some lapchable side to water.
And so here again, in this process of emanation, like when we emanate multiples of our own bodies, in this case since beginningless time all our own previous rebirths are indeed equal in number to all the atoms of the Buddha realms, etc. The point here is that we are very cognizant of generating vast quantities of positive merit, and here is the process of really employing the extent of our imagination to address the motivation that we have from the tantric perspective of quickly attaining the state of enlightenment. Therefore, we employ vast multiples of ourselves engaging in these very acts of merit in order to increase the quantity of that merit, like manifold. And also in this particular aspect of the 7 limbs of exhorting the Buddha to turn the wheel of Dharma is significant in that Buddhism in general does not engage in proselytizing. There's no kind of missionary aspect like in Christianity, where one goes from some aspects of Christianity go from door to door and telling you how wonderful Christianity is and so on. In Buddhism, that this is not a tradition, and the tradition is that one doesn't offer a teaching until one is requested for that teaching by somebody who is interested and genuine. And together with our exhorting the Buddhists to turn the wheel of Dharma, then it says also that the worldly gods, they also do the same. They urge the Buddhists to turn the wheel of Dharma, and that here they are seen to kind of like beseech the Buddha to turn that wheel of Dharma as similar to what we have done above. And so yes, this is commemorating really the time when Shakyamuni Buddha first attained a state of enlightenment and then paused before he turned the wheel of Dharma for the first time, and then during that time he was exhorted by, I think, Indra and Brahma to please turn the wheel of Dharma. It's not right not to teach. You need to go and turn the wheel of Dharma. And so they offered the Dharma wheel at that time. And that it is said that this particular limb of exhorting the Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma has the benefit of purifying negative karmas that would weaken one's own practice, such as forsaking the Dharma and so on, and also karmas related to our own creating obstacles to other people engaging in Dharma practice, and those negativities are purified by this practice. I think that and so we can see actually in the specification of these purifications that take place through practicing this limb of the 7 limbs, that we are on the one hand purified of negativities that would weaken our own Dharma practice, such as forsaking the Dharma, and also we purify negativities caused by our causing interference in other people's practice. And so when you think about that, you know, it's like, yes, I have definitely engaged in that since beginning this time until now. There must have been countless such incidents, negativities similar to that have arisen in my own mind stream, and that this is quite manifest really when you look at in general the sort of ability that I have to engage in pure Dharma practice now, you know. So like you know, you can say on the one hand, when it comes to doing anything non-Dharma, not too many obstacles. I'm plenty of enthusiasm, but when it comes to doing anything Dharma related, yeah, all sorts of obstacles and delays and procrastinations take place. So this is indicative of having these kinds of negativities on our mind stream. So it's very good that they are purified. So we can see, like, from our own habits, our own habitual way of thinking, that yes, of course, we are glad to have met the Dharma and to kind of really have an affinity for the Dharma teachings and so on. But when we ask really how important is the Buddha Dharma to you, you know, like if we had a choice of engaging in Dharma practice and making $400 or $500 handy, you know, quickly, which would we choose? I think most of the time we'd go for the $400 or $500 just to get it into our hands, you know. And that's sort of really saying, how important do you really consider the Dharma? because we have very, very strong habitual tendencies to do the mundane cyclic existence thing.
So the younger that younger that you can set a lot to open a pretty terrific Kavashing to near Shubaya, target Timur and just saw just what I can judge. Younger limit was meta what are the teacher and tradition answer younger that you don't but Namla, that you demba Namla, Doanala, Pamba that they will give a chito, Ranji. Luigi single do the time that number 2 nana, Keban Nanga Leja, because a Keban Leja, Haba Nanga Lemita or Shuba so whatever. Some check.
And so that, really, I think in many ways we're quite fragile in our dedication to the Dharma. And that, this sort of ambiguity we have towards engaging in practice versus the worldly activities is a clear sign that we have issues with regard to forsaking the Dharma and so on in the past as negativities on our mind stream. And that, so the next of the limbs, the sixth limb is to again request the Buddhas not to enter into parinirvana, but to stay. And so here the verse from the King of Prayers states, "With palms together I earnestly request, you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara." And so here we're addressing all of the Buddhas in the 10 directions, and for the sake of the happiness and benefit of all sentient beings, we emanate bodies equal in number to all of the atoms of the Buddha realms, and really make powerful, heartfelt requests to really beseech the Buddhas to not to remain for eons and even longer than eons, to remain and not enter into parinirvana. And also that to really making such a request, that we see the Buddhas agree to what we have asked, and agree not to go into parinirvana. And related to this practice is that if we are really requesting our own teachers, those from whom we receive direct teachings, to please stay and pray for their long life, that it's said that this is the supreme way for helping our own life, for our own longevity, to remain living for a long time. And so the final limb, the seventh limb, is the limb of dedication. And this verse from the King of Prayers says, "Whatever slight positive potential I may have created by paying homage, offering, and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing, and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening."
안 다가니 제 심제 탐제 투모도 심제 시바게 아니 개와갈 사바 이번에 좋았다 투모도 제가 하는 조배 자주 주고 다 투모도 제가 조배 자주 주서 두바잡이어서 두바잡이 아니 뭐가 삼내서 뭐가 삼내 찬자와다다 저도 직접 직조서 찾아보다 취시하고다 제서를 그래서 교조사 탐제다게 장주 친구 와서다 왔다 두바데 왔다 주요시 왔다
And so that here we are taking into consideration all of the virtues, as exemplified in the virtues related to the previous 6 limbs of the 7 limbs, and we dedicate this with a very strongly felt, really heartfelt sense of powerful dedication, great aspiration on our part, in order to take into consideration dedicating these virtues and indeed all the virtues of all other sentient beings in common who are engaging in the creation of virtue, in order to attain a state of full and complete enlightenment. And that here we recite that appropriate verse from the King of Prayers, and taking into consideration that it is for the sake of all sentient beings that I dedicate all of the roots of virtue to the unsurpassable state of complete and full enlightenment.
Tene simje 탐제게 된도 계자 남자 라나메바 조베 장주고 주릉원에서다 simje 탐제게 된도 다 simje 탐제게 된 같이 뭐 주베 치도 라나메 조베 장주고 주릉원에 simje 레레 되네 계자 크게 쯤 잡래 마주야 계자 시도 dobchewe 장주 마도 제바도 메세바 이노죠.
And it is to be understood here that even though we're making this powerful dedication, that it is not the case that each being gets merely a pinhead of our root virtue, but indeed they get the full blessing of all the virtues, a great wave of virtue, and from the until indeed we attain the state of enlightenment, and until that time this virtue will not be exhausted.
자주 준비가 가서다 로디 자주 준비 돌려서 지다 자주 천나서 추디로 자주 마세 봐도 디메세 대세 장주 중의 개와 양사 장주 마도 봐도 디메세 제수배 칠죠.
And from the sutra known as the Ocean of Intelligence, a sutra requested by Sagaramati, it says, just as a drop of water poured into a great ocean will not disappear until the ocean runs dry, so too will virtue dedicated to enlightenment not disappear before enlightenment is gained. So this includes both conventional dedication and ultimate dedication. And ultimate dedication, of course, considers that both the objective of the attainment of the state of enlightenment, the virtue that is being dedicated, and the agent, the one who accumulated that virtue, are completely empty of objective existence and are merely imputed by thought. And this is the ultimate sense of dedication.
가서도 먼저기로 똑바뀌고 심지어 탐제고 산제 고마 톱고 뒤 토발라 란기로 똑바뀌고 연주고 똑바뀌고 장주승고 똑바뀌고 요래 다가네 돈이 도베 세라고 똑바뀌고 요래 나는 사줄 랑마 림기도나 산제 고마 톱고 요래 난 데데 제발라 딱 교연 체슈데 가요서 말아주고 딕바다 디바티게 야 딕디 비어바이나 아니 연대들이 깨투고 요 말이 근데 이 말인 상고 소사 tip장치게 소사에 뭐 아니 그래서 된대가 도박게 월 바디바디 디바디도 마찬가지야. 보다 된대 이면서 보다 야라도 봐 멘자도 제가 양의 양도 소사 tip장 양의 양도 제대 개침이 말고 된대.
So the central focus of the seven-limbed practice, which we have just glossed through, is to engage in the accumulation of positive merit and the purification of negativities and eradication of obscurations. And here we really must consider how central this is to any progress on the spiritual path, whether we generate any sense of renunciation, the mind of enlightenment, the correct view, whether we gain a realization of emptiness, our progress on the 10 grounds and the 5 paths, etc. All of this and the kind of difficulties that we have in making any progress is due to our being hampered by negativities and obscurations. And the fact that we cannot generate any decent, lasting good qualities is similarly create the problem is that we have too much negativity and obscuration on our mind stream. And so therefore the practice of merit and purification and the offering of mandala in the context of the seven-limb practice and the offering of mandala is extremely important to our progress on the path.
다 멘데 프로듀 지금 양 가서 링시 리랍의 저 프로듀도 오다 리랍스인데 유나 메나 태좀 사이다 오다 리랍 유마이 개치모 말이야 다 개치슈도 가서 가서 소사 좀 잡고 유바 인사 아니 남주 다 용다 리랍스 되되고 유바 인사 아니 제 잠불링 되게 조당 차상직 링시 리랍의 저 조당 차상직다 남주기 가서 다 지금 검식이 지금 유바 인사 오다 된대지 아니 다 랑이 객사가 된대를 뚜이잖아요. 퓨에지. 퓨바이나 라고 소남사기로 왔다 소남사나 되게도 와.
And so that the context or the wording of, say, the mandala prayer or the offering of the 4 continents, Mount Meru, the sun and moon, etc. Now, whether one has a belief in that is secondary to the objective of that practice, and that is to accumulate positive merit. And so here it's really saying one can use one's imagination to be able to offer like the entire universe, represented here, the 4 continents, sun and moon, Mount Meru, etc., and together with all our roots of virtue. This is again in the context of that quickly attaining, accelerating that process of being able to attain enlightenment as quickly as possible for the benefit of sentient beings. So one is able to use one's imagination to offer everything possible in the form of the mandala for the maximum amount of merit.
다데나 원에 주에 되베 되는 나서 주베 치도 다 멘테 표현에서 원에 주에 되베 다 간다다 라므르 다 똑바 차서 규례 기베 치베 이자 다 디치도 되베 되는 주베 치도 멘테 표현에서 배나 개부 치부시라서 되는 강체와시 슈에서 당부 부와 치부시에서 제대 되는 되는 다시 랑구에서 년도 세왕 그래서 년비슈와다 자와서다 오자와자 멘제디야 랍세르무 징 상카와 마조나야 신소 가야루와 나 좋아 그래서 가야루와서 루와라 중당 그래서 바중당서 중와라 바중당 제상게 취주 어느 가서 소부 양사 제상게 취 바데 아니 멘제서 멘제 체루 마소 동송게 동치베 지된 칸 충양 마송 와라서 잡르 쪼나 동송게 동치베 지된제 칸 탐제다 대들 마조나 그서다 라신게서 라신게서 류롱주 링시르자 계자다 제바 탐제 닌 타바네 미바세 와 제나는 멘제 퓨네서.
And so that then with regard to our roots of virtue, when dedicated in this way, that they will not be exhausted until we attain the state of enlightenment. The image is also used of the treasury of a great king, that it appears that no matter how much it is used, it is never exhausted. And here then, following the 7 limbs, and in order for the successful outcome of what comes later, it says here, what comes later is of course our meditations and all the subject matter of the graduated path to enlightenment. And so it's really in order to gain the realizations of each of those subjects in turn that we make the offering of the mandala. And so this is the mandala practice, and it's again it is related to if we are requesting something of great importance from a king, for example, that we would first of all make a sizable offering to that king in order for the successful outcome of our request. And similarly here, whether we are offering praises or request, we offered the same process of making the offering of the mandala practice, making that petition, as it were, for the success of our practice. And here the mandala, the materials to make your actual mandala, I said the best are of course gold, silver, in middling would be copper or iron. And then if one doesn't have a lot of wealth, then of course one can offer a wooden mandala. And one begins by kind of consecrating it with the substances of a cow, the yogurt, urine, and so on, dung, and then also with scented water that they're applied to the base of the mandala, and then with the various piles that we gather up, they are infused with fragrance as well, whatever we are using. And it said that the mandala does not get very big, but yet the great cosmos of the 3,000 world systems fits into it without the mandala getting any smaller. And here again one uses and employs one's imagination to whatever capacity we can. So if one has the capacity to do it, one includes in one's mandala practice the offering of those 3,000 world systems. If one is not able for that, then one can offer from the depths of one's heart, really, and visualizing this, that we are able to offer all our own root virtues, the 4 continents, the Mount Meru and so on, and all of the enjoyments of ourselves and of others, and they are all offered.
donation take to try so much with this because the chema uti chasona because shung sensona and ko song ye le la yo yorwa but then you go to what told
so maybe we don't have an example of a very rich king with a great treasury to use in the modern day. Maybe a queen, but maybe not a king. But that we could think of all these big business people who make offerings to politicians during election time. They call them donations, yeah. In order that if their leader rises to the top, and they can, ease the way for their business to thrive thereafter.
Did too much. But I'm also Agam the previous there were Tagala and Chick Gabuda to pay to and got Tatichi down Jorba. Tatichi down Jorba happened at Tambu, Persona and Chupu, and then the shop see at our chicken and come on a yacht in the shoe and shall appear down and because of the get the light party that should be by the Michabuji Pion to the subsuch that in the Shija Rangi and that because of that. Data Sanya the Chet Kindule, what are they tinashes? Because me Lola Chatia Yorba. What are the potential?
So, in many ways you see that in these descriptions of practice, these kind of very ready connections with worldly affairs, such as here, entreating the king for some great request and therefore making offerings for the success of your own request. And that in business and so on, like we have just described, and you can see that it's probably very deliberate in being able to reconcile practice and what's happening in the normal world. Because after all, who's practicing? People and human beings engage in these kind of things. So the practice elements are chosen in order to allow for a more easy assimilation in a person's mind when they're connecting it with spiritual practice. Like when we do during tantric practice, you make the offerings of Argam, Padyam, Pupe, Dupe, and so on. And so these are traditional actual activities and offerings in ancient Indian society when an important visitor came to visit, and that you would offer Argam, water, and Padyam, water for washing their feet, water for drinking. You would have the incense, the flowers, the candles, the light, and the food, and the music, and so on. These are again just tailored then to the particular tantric practice because they were common in normal human activity. So it's more easy for the mind to get around. I think it's more easily used by one's mentality to kind of reconcile them with spiritual practice.
다 되네. 그래서 다 저기 최근 냠래 이마에서 다 년중의 심메세 아니 대과집을 저 잔주가 심마세 아니 되게 녀모로 도모도 제 돈이도 베셔라고 심마세 다 된데 그 도그르베 아니 다가네 생각지 가서도 아니 저기 다 쳐바티게 똥바티 안에 아니 쳐바티게 차려야 되게 그거 다 냠래 뭐 소소 가서다 다 난게 또그 지에서 뒤고서 지가 통하게 요 말와 다 치료가 통한데도 그 남주 지된 거 조당 잡고 조당하고 도와다 뒤 출라 드라마도 쓰는데 다 남래버 호랑라 자 아니 최대 누가 치주 가서 좀 돼. 다 지금 고로다 되면 뭐저 할래도 와.
And so, of course, this is only describing the outer elements of practice, isn't it? That what happens inside depends on the individual practitioner, and so what's saying is that here, when one is engaged in spiritual practice, that it may look similar to, or seem similar to any kind of mundane activity outside. That there's a connection with the real world, as it were. But whether it becomes even spiritual practice or not is dependent on what's going on inside, the power of the motivation and the carrying of that motivation through the practice from the individual practitioner. Whether it is going to lead to the generation of renunciation or not, the generation of bodhicitta or not, the generation of correct view or not, whether we're countering mental affliction or not, whether we're increasing our understanding of emptiness or not. All is that's all due to or related to what's happening internally in the actual mind of that practitioner. So how effective one is an internal issue.
어디다 주로 조단도 거기 지대로 한다고. 근데 제대 아니 힌두고 추그 지단다 잡고 요래. 망부지 오다 집벌이 자성다 자기 왔다. 치기 요제가 배주 당다의 지단 줘를 봐. 근데 잡고 요래. 근데 남백에 지실로 그래. 힌두게 지실로에 요래. 아간 바데 되게 요래. 간 잡고 요래. 다 남백 최 인다 매에서도 다 잠두고 심마세. 대과 집에 최 인다 매에서도 아니 로다 담두고 심마센다 다가니시 대바치고 잔주고 심마센다 아니 저게 안 다가니 저게 돈이도베 가바다 탐지기베 길로도 돈이도베 시라고 심마서 다 되게 개바가 아니 저 개바티 다 난게 삼로 당당 돈에 잔이 개바차고도.
And one can see also that in the engaging in different ritual and so on. The offering of Argam, Pajam, Pupe, Dupe, etc., and other rituals, such as fire rituals. There's a great similarity between Hinduism and Buddhism, that they're shared practices, and that there's a great deal of emphasis in Hinduism on the external ritual, isn't there? However, I think in Buddhism, it's whether or not in Hinduism, I don't know, but in Buddhism, there's a very clear emphasis on being able to relate what is happening externally through ritual, and what is imperative for any of that practice to be effective is that one must set one's internal motivation. So whether one is engaged in spiritual practice or not depends on that refuge. Whether one's engaged in a Mahayana practice depends on whether one's motivation is imbued with the sense of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, and so on. And so this is very clear from the Buddhist perspective, that your external activities are only effective in the sense that they are supported by your internal motivation.
남배 추고 조단 제바이나 남배 추고 조단 제바이나 다 타베줄라 조다 먼저한테 아니 도메토베 시라고 심마스 조그래 시라고 심마스 조고도와 시라고 심마스 조다 디제도 다 베나 힌두고 출로잖아 다도 두바 케말레나 매도 요래 다도 마토는 매도 요래 그래서 다 돈이도베 시라고 생스도 가고 싶어도 와 그래서 코웨 규면도 타베 규저도 오스 가고래도 와 다 싱게 툴라 때문에 중간 내줄로 가르부터 시작하고래도 와.
So, for example, in Buddhism, that's whether one's activities are going to become causes for the state of liberation from cyclic existence depends on whether they are imbued with that wisdom of emptiness. So, from the Hindu point of view, the idea of any lack of objective existence of a self-entity is unacceptable, because from their point of view that leads to non-existence, and so therefore whatever their activities are and whatever motivation they are imbued with cannot lead to the state of liberation from cyclic existence. And so only from the point of view of causes related to the power of the object that are accumulated could assist in heading towards liberation and the state of an enlightenment. And so that is not just related to those of Hindu practitioners, but whoever, those who don't adhere to any spiritual tradition, it's possible for them to accumulate causes for omniscience due to the power of the object. So here, this is not some sort of taking cheap shots at other traditions, criticizing. It's simply important to know the differences between traditions, and pointing out that if causes are in place, then one can expect a corresponding result. But if causes are not in place, then one certainly can't logically expect to have that result. It's not a question of wantonly criticizing Hinduism or anything like that. The Hindu tradition is countless wonderful qualities to it and wonderful practitioners in it.
What the nigga that Mandepin, then a council of some Mandepia, and not to visit the Yabuyoeta, and then to Toya Yabuyoeta, we will have the little matter. That can't go some Yalato Mandeta Chavata, Mandepin, a drenchable Sunjaquan and so at the Pasa. Drenchable Sunjaquan and so at the Vanessa, Shinila Magupana, Sondata, Daniels at Samazan and Chijil of the Lotata Kaye. Da, Daganisha Shinila Gubania, so the Chinjumalo Lona Tata, Rangula Kiawachi. And then they yola Badujo again China, Kasa China, and Kasata, Chinangi, Pajota, and Yawashi. She was any single lap to Susan, so I shoot a bukuna. So I said to Debs.
And so then, why do we offer mandala? that said, is it for to have a good life in this life, to become rich, and so on, to have a long life? No, it is not for those temporary reasons. It is said that there are three vitally important purposes for which we offer mandala, and the first is so that we can put a stop to and eradicate all mistaken attitudes of mind, from showing disrespect to our spiritual teacher up to holding on to, grasping onto the two self-entities. And secondly, it is the opposite of that, so that we can actually generate quickly and easily all the correct minds or mental attitudes from showing respect to our spiritual teacher, etc. And thirdly, in order to bring that about, the third is that we make powerful requests, and so that we can pacify all internal and external hindrances, to be able to kind of to fulfill the first two of those great purposes. And we make these three in a way which is like very forcefully and very strongly a sense of a request, with a single pointed determination.
What did so the what is that the even is but I'm also something around the Nasa de join Nasa in the Taya Tanya, some of the 20 years required and was some of the Tony because of the Taka Yantu Kujola saw the younger to Masai travel to the younger. That did Japan Simja Tamja de Sandia combat Mato Tamuto, T. Cheto. And Ranga said the daughter in Snake Kudo, T. Insa, and it Nasa new to Tayata. Because me did Simja Tamja to Sandia combat to Cheto. That 20 years, Simja Tamja to Sandia combat Tobala, and it Lute Tanta, and it Lute, that Sayata 2 years of and 20 years Gogua, Yazana, and T. Cheto, and it you had and Domala Sunday Chiat and Nata, and the Yogurwata. The me thought because Simja Tamja Sandia combat to Chevinsa could get check your money. What a church you might check your money within the chap.
So that we might be very tempted to make a strong requests and entreaties to the Triple Gem and so on, and to help us if we are sick, or that we are engaged in adverse conditions, or for some sort of worldly success, that in this life, and that here. There's certainly a fault in that, because that is non-dharma activity, and but one can readdress that, rephrase, refocus those requests, so that if we have as our main objective, of course, to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, in order to do that I need to really put everything I have into practice in this life. And in order to do that, I need to be healthy. And so therefore, my request to overcome this particular illness, overcome this particular disease and sickness or adverse condition, whatever it is centered on the main objective of attaining the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. And whether we make that a request from the Triple Gem, from Tara, doing Tara practice and reciting Tara mantras and so on, that's fine, that's fine. There's no danger of that becoming a non-dharma activity, because we have set our motivation, and it's clear why we want to recover and so on from illness, etc.
What that the never because of what the doing to pursue the corner, so what's it to that? Then doing it, and it just a lama tenilas, minions, like a mine, but it's a lama and butcher, Tagichi payment, cottage, because Kusun to the Mudu Sato so what so at the best, and Mangashi could have taken a chance. What
So then, in order to really definitely mix these three great purposes with our own mind stream, because we have made this request with a single-pointed, powerful, forceful determination, we again visualize our own kind root guru in front of us, and make the supplication prayer. O glorious and precious root guru, please abide at the lotus and moon seat on my crown, and taking care of me with your great kindness, bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind.
Lama tube ombiosa tugane wese trene asa wese trene tagwana shube asa da kasa shito ramjan tam che la pobe tane rimgi wedo shune asa da kasa wedo shune jaje juju da ana samo doju je hanam la asa kasa lama nam la tip lama nam la tenan ja da tenan ja o za oma ne rimgi shute asa jaje juju da juju jamba da 사모타주기 잠야라 팀데 잠야라 팀 그러다 냐네 지라주베 라마난자 다 지라 지탱이 야지네 도지 창라 야팀 다 최종 모두 제 라마난자 다 가서도 지라 지탱 전에 다 란제 지제 자외 라마 라팀 팀제다 라마 종거로 같이서 종거 같이서 레시 나보텔라 안 세나데.
And so then begins the process of dissolution of the merit field, and this begins with light rays emanating from the heart center of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha at the center of the merit field, and the kind of like the ends through the very tips of those light rays emanating. By striking all the infinite, peaceful and wrathful deities surrounding, they begin the process of, from the very outer members of the merit field, moving slowly inwards. They begin the process of melting into light, like an evaporation. And so all of the gurus of the merit field merit on one side, they will dissolve into all the gurus of the vast, extensive practices lineage, and on the other side into the lineage of profound view gurus. And then those gurus in turn will gradually, from the lower ones, gradually moving up, again dissolving like condensation, evaporating into the ones above, until all those of the extensive practices lineage have dissolved into Maitreya, and all those of the profound view lineage have evaporated into, dissolved into Manjushri. And then from the behind, all of the consecrated practices lineage gurus dissolve into Vajradhara, and all of the gurus from whom we have received teachings dissolve into our own kind root guru. And so therefore it leaves now the merit field left with the five main characters or elements of the merit field, and we really fix our visualization and focus on that for a while.
딱 라망가보 대달라 사나트 데네 데네 아사 가서 데네 아사 잠야니 아 가서 더 통화라 림싱에서 부터도 데 가서 배마 배더니 장사 투베 생질라티 데네 진짜 자외 라바야 안 가서 더 외도 쉬네 투베 오비 투가라티 도지 찬자 라마 투베 오비 시보네 존에 안 투가 이시 셈베 수제서 슈퍼섬 슈퍼섬 신세 데라 투와 도지 창수가 이제.
So then the dissolutions continue, and so we have those five main characters that we're maintaining a clear visualization of, and we see that then both Maitreya and Manjushri dissolve into the main figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, and their respective seats of a lotus and moon disk dissolve into the the lion throne of the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Then our own kind root guru dissolves into light and then absorbs into the heart center of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. And Vajradhara then comes to the crown of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. Then as the wisdom being abides at the heart of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. And so at this point the main figure is called the Munindra Vajradhara, or Guru Shakyamuni Buddha Vajradhara.
간제 좀 먼저 초신 된대잖아. 다 초신라 소화되벨 때네 소화되벨 때네 다 간제 초신은 다 랑게 진짜 자외라마 다 초신게 초신디 아니 저거저도 땡거 좋아라 또 마셔져 두바 또 마셔져 두바 된다 랑게 진짜 자외라마를 주동 것도 라마서 권이요 봐. 주동 라마 것도 라마서 권이요 돼. 아니 가서 빠져서 라마를 다기 좀 가는 고소는 거서 소대 제발 때네 랑게 자외 라마테네 랑다 니버지 주네 랑게 지고라 슈 랑게 지고라 슈 담부 저 니베 슈 수베때도 슈네 아니 자외 라마티야 아니 지금 거서도 시에디 야 초신을 팔로네 아니 랑게 찹제잖아 아니 얘기 부디 딱 같이 제 아니 가서도 딱 같이 자주 랑거진 베게 아니 치고바 되고도 아니 디 아니 다 치고바 되고도 되네 이제 속에 신랑 게 아니 다 간자 지금 딜라 아니 가서도 다 간자 지금 가서도 다 지금 가서도 다 랑거진 베 아니 치고바라 아니 가서도 다 지금 가서도 아니 지금 신년 막고 반에 했는데 아니 가서도 가서 단위 시집발로 치 런다다 가봐다 신년을 구반에 했는데 신년 말로 런다다 기아 깨지 받자다 시와 아니 진길 라브로치스 쇠대 제발할 때는 아니 쇠대 제발할 때는 아니 소신 대다가 아니 배시기 시바 소리지 다 랑게 찹소로 제잖아 다 간제 되잖아 어디되잖아 뭐다 랑게 지원 라마티 요바체 어디되잖아 아니 되네 다 간자죠 되네잖아 다 단다디 거서다 라마티게 간제 찌라 지팅 붙잖아 다 도바샤제 투바 도바샤제 투바 어디를 세트부터 어디 제시했죠.
And so, I'm going to say there's something incomplete in this description here. That if we move back a little bit prior to the dissolution of the merit field, that following our generation of the
dissolution,
prior to before the dissolution of the merit field, that we have gone through the offering of the mandala for the three great purposes. And so here then we had that verse where we visualize our own root guru in front, and we make the request, "Oh glorious and precious root guru, come take this lotus and moon seat at my crown, and taking care of me with your great kindness, bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind." This is recited 3 times, and it actually causes a root guru who we have visualized in front to come to our crown, to remain there and to remain steadfast there. And that as we have recited the 3rd time that particular entreating verse, our guru is sitting on our crown facing the merit field like us, and so now he begins to act as a representative for us in kind of connecting with the merit field. And so he's saying, to the merit field, this child of the lineage has a very strong and genuine motivation to meditate on all the subject matter of the graduated path to enlightenment, and indeed to fulfill the 3 great purposes of really eradicating all mistaken minds from disrespecting the guru right up to holding the 2 kinds of self-entity, and to overcome, to quickly and easily develop all the correct mental attitudes, such as showing respect to our guru, etc., and indeed to affect the eradication of all obscurations and negativities in the form of internal and external obscurations or problems, hindrances, and therefore I, on his behalf, make this request to please bless him or her, this practitioner, to be able to very effectively, quickly and easily fulfill the path. And that we witness that ourselves, and we witness also as a result of our own root guru acting on our behalf, that the merit field acquiesces to that request. They agree to that request and say, yes, we will.
Lamanga tigeti ani tigeta tiget chacha tigla chikta so lama tuwa to chi chang wada takara cha da lama tuwa to ta kacha tuyang bo tini to sentiment wada ji ta kacha cha wada lama tuwa to chi chang so da sentiment de ni ja tuya on be sentiment de ni la te asa reshi tuwa to chi chang de ni la senato da tuwa to chi chang de ni la mine and senato wada cha.
And so therefore then following that requesting process with our own guru, our own root guru on our crown, then it goes through as it is described there. So the dissolution of the merit field with the rays of light emanating from the heart center of the central figure of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, and so on, and then all of the gurus slowly dissolving into the ones within, and then from below upwards till we get to the 5 main remaining figures. And then they go through their particular dissolution process until we have the figure of the Munindra Vajradhara, the central figure, and then the remaining throne and lotus, sun and moon disc seats dissolve into the lion throne and of the Munindra Vajradhara, the central figure. So we're left now with just the last remaining figure in the merit field, and we again maintain the clarity of our visualization on the clear appearance of that central figure.
And a good set to Utu Shaji Chani, yes, and you yam shagatina, Tizaka, Usen number, Kula Chugu Meto just so, Seba Soa, and Sembe can be as a dancer, Vega Rashicha, Kuli you Pumu in a shady to Chikitu Shu, being the answer.
And so, having done that, then the figure of the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha and Munindra Vajradhara then comes again and dissolves into our own root guru at the crown of our heads, and also then the figure on the crown of our heads with a lion throne, a lotus, sun and moon disc, mandala seat, is in the true nature, or the essence, in essence, our own kind root guru, and in the aspect of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, and the conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha, who has the complexion of like molten gold, who has the crown protrusion, Ushnish, one face, 2 hands, with the right hand in the earth-touching mudra, and the left hand in the meditative absorption mudra, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. The body is adorned with beautiful 3 saffron robes of a fully ordained monk, and marked with the major and minor marks of a Buddha, is in the nature of clear light, and then is seated within haloed by the light emanating from the body in the Vajra posture.
And put a killer to a your to such a tour della and Casada, which I say, what a catch, what is what.
And that then again, following that, we do a brief run through of the 7 limb prayers with the offering of mandala, again making our requests and using the verse, whose body produces 10 million excellent virtues, whose speech sustains the hopes of all beings, and whose mind, which realizes all objects of knowledge, whatever it is to be known. To the conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha, I bow my head in homage. And then we also include the verse related to the 7 limbs. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and purified. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. And so this is through the dedication and so on. And then that continues into the offering of the 4 continents, sun and moon, Mount Meru, and the 7 precious jewels, the precious mandala, and a host of Samantabhadra offerings. I offer all these to the lamas, the tutelary deities, and the 3 jewels. May they kindly accept these and bless us. And so this then continues with the particular prayer from the miraculous book of the Gelugpas, and it continues, Supreme Lama Lord, embodiment of the 4 bodies, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Lama Lord, embodiment of unobscured Dharmakaya, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Lama Lord, embodiment of great bliss Sambhogakaya, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Lama Lord, embodiment of multiform Nirmanakaya, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all lamas, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all tutelary deities, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Buddhas, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all holy Dharma, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Sangha, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Dakas and Dakinis, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Dharma protectors, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all refuges, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. So here one is reminding oneself that through the dissolution of the merit field into the one single remaining Munindra Vajradhara central element, a central character, that yet the Munindra Vajradhara is the embodiment of all the members of the merit field. I think that when we combine such a recitation with the knowledge of what we're reflecting on, seeing the single remaining figure of Munindra Vajradhara as the embodiment of all Buddhas, and focusing in that way, I think it has a tremendous significance. There's a great, very, very great importance to it.
tang mi ba dong ane de chuo chen ji le ji tem che wo de ane de wo da de chen ane da zhe ge lama tuang do chang Quran da ji le chuo chen tam je te ba zhe da san je tam je da ni se na da ne guo ju chen bu duo da guo ju da ane chuo je le duo.
I think that yes, it can bring some certainly feeling to the mind. This process of the expanding all of the merit field out to see all the Buddhas, all the members of the merit field, and then dissolving into the single figure of Munindra Vajradhara, as stated here, and showing that is yet the embodiment of all the Buddhas. I think it can bring some sense of feeling, the actuality of that into one's own awareness, one's own mind.
So this da ma simje tamje ko le gene yurin do shu da le dong na zo no de da gewe shini samjo ni ge cui shi do ma den ba le de ne lian du be an de da ma simje tamje je an gewe shini samjo ni ju ko ne cui shi do den no ba la an la ma le jing ge la du so de che.
And so then the addendum to that prayer, it continues, I myself and all mother sentient beings born in samsara have to experience severe suffering for a long time. This is the retribution for not properly serving our virtuous teachers in thoughts and deeds. Now, I myself and all mother sentient beings pray. Please bless us to properly serve our virtuous teachers in thoughts and deeds.
So the chebe and jibo reta because samjo ni ko ne switch do ma da da bu gewe shi ni ma de ba den ja switch do ma de ba wo da de ne ne ba cha de yo ro da ani wo de ne ge za ma de ba sa da ne ba yi sa so de be an jibe la mal ha ye sa ku le ani tu chen na nga we se de che ba gyun ba na ra da shen sim ja tam je ja ne lu da sa lo ma shu be to ma me ba sa be ti ba che da ke ba do ani gewe shi ni 아니 마디안바다 대자네 대줄로베 님이 그래서 취신도 삼네 아니 취신도 대말라 계획제에서 딕다 내든 다 제가 탐제 장신다 당 장신다네 알류스 당세 외거라지 제도 교수 삼삼제 다들 뒤에서 또 까고 셰쳐지 배 세고 이거 까고 또 셰쳐지 어디를 고마셔 what 다소 삼삼제.
And so then, as a result of making these particular supplications, and when it talks about our incorrectly relating to the spiritual teacher in thought and in deed, it is talking about on the one hand, not relating to the spiritual teacher, and then having chosen to enter into that relationship, then relating improperly to the spiritual teacher. So there's kind of false negativities arising in both categories, and here we want to really purify those. So as a result of making our supplications, then from the guru deity at our heart, and the descending nectar light descends, light emanates from them, and here you get the 5 colored nectar lights, but with the white light predominant here at this point, and that it enters into the crowns and the bodies and minds of ourselves and all sentient beings, and such that all negativities and obscurations that we have accumulated in general are purified, and in particular all of the obstacles, hindrances, negativities, obscurations, sickness, demon harm, and so on, that has arisen, is arising for us through our incorrectly relating to the spiritual teachers. They have also been purified and cleansed, and that our kind of like our bodies transformed into pure, clear light.
아니 롱도고 윤대 탐제 아니 관에 관도 패스 개발 중소 개발도 연 계획신이라 삼조니 이거는 수신도 된 뉴베에서 또바 개발자 라시 심제 탐제 규례 개발사 호텔죠.
And that in order for us to really succeed in our Dharma practice, we gain the conducive conditions of a long life, merit, and the qualities or good qualities of realization of both the scriptural and realizational Dharma increase and flourish for us. And in particular, that we have the realization of really having the ability to perfectly relate in both thought and deed to our spiritual teacher. And that this is something that we feel that is arising in the mind streams of ourselves and all sentient beings through this blessing. And then so begins the second main outline of the text, following the preliminaries, the actual practice. And this of course begins with how to relate to the spiritual teacher. And this has 4 subheadings. The first is the benefits of relating to the spiritual teacher, the disadvantages of not relating to the spiritual teacher, thirdly, how to relate to the spiritual teacher in thought, and then how to relate to the spiritual teacher in deed as the fourth. So we'll leave it there for today, because we won't be able to get into that in detail if we begin now. And so that there's in general, when we talk about within the detail of the Lam Rim, there's a lot that is kind of prescribed, and there's a lot that's proscribed, suitable or unsuitable to do. And so, but what we'll follow here now is kind of a general presentation of the graduated path. And so when we talk about the graduated path and the study of the graduated path, it follows the question, so how is it then that I should engage in spiritual practice? This is the answer to it. So I thought now we'd recite some medicine Buddha mantras, and then ostensibly, of course, for Hannelore, who is quite sick at the moment. But indeed, we can also think of all those who we know and have a connection with, who may be undergoing sickness, illness, disease of one kind or another, and indeed anybody, and all sentient beings who are unwell, that we include them all in our motivation. And so when we are doing our recitation of mantra, that we of course surrounded by all kind of other sentient beings who are engaged in the recitation, that we are doing so in the company of all the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and we particularly visualize, of course, the Buddhas, the medicine Buddhas, and we concentrate on the alms bowl filled with medicinal nectar, held by the medicine Buddhas, with the light streaming from there, the medicinal, cleansing, purifying, healing light, and that going to all the different beings who have problems, illness all around the world, and that this is into the the medicines that they are taking, the treatments that they are taking, and that it purifies any ill effects that they might have, the side effects that they might have, so that there are no side effects, that they really empower those medicines to do the job that they are meant to do, to cure that particular illness, to heal those particular wounds, but also to purify and to eradicate negativities, obscurations of self-cherishing, self-grasping, as well as their imprints, that it has that power to it. And it's also blessing, you know, not just the medicine, but also all of their food, all of their drink, all of the objects that they are using, and so on, that they are all purified. And indeed, all bodies of water, for example, around the world, that it enters into all those and purifies all the impurities within those waters. The pollutants and so on are completely purified, so that all who use those sources of water thereafter are purified, not only of any physical ailments, but also their psychological negativities and obscurations, etc.